Oilerslive podcast. Oilerslive podcast. Oilerslive podcast. Oilerslive podcast.
Now, get ready to talk hockey. Streaming from the Oilers Live studio. Subscribe or follow today.
Hey, it's Michael here from Oilers Live. Wow, what a great night. Good night to talk hockey. And 4-0 win for the Oilers over the Chicago Blackhawks. Koskinen's night tonight, 4-0. Good shutout. First shutout of the season for the Oilers. Caggiula, good game. Jason, number of good games out there. Some things to talk about tonight. And, hope we can get some people calling in. Have a good time tonight. It's good. We're back on the winning track after, a night where we let in 3 too many power play or PK goals last game. So good to be back on the winning track, and nice to see us up top of the Pacific. Not right up top, but I think we're in third right now if you the Flames winning tonight. And that one was a 6-4 barn burner. So I would like if we could get some of you to call in tonight and have a little bit of fun. I got no guests tonight. Just going to be people listening in. We can chat about the game. Curious. I put out a tweet tonight about Garrison. What a beauty shot on the power play. I've been pretty critical of him. That's not to say I'm not going to stay critical of Garrison, but that shot tonight was something else, and he does now officially have more goals as an Oiler than I do. But you know what? Good on him, and I hope he scores more. The second power play unit looked, not so bad tonight. They looked like they could handle their own. Really like Caggiula's game. Curious what your thoughts are on Puljujarvi tonight. He had his ups and his downs. Looked a little bit nervous at times. Had a couple good opportunities, but he always plays the same way. I don't know, just kind of a little bit of lumbering around. He's got some good speed and can play with the puck when he needs to. Would love to see that shot more. Don't know what we need to do in order to get that out of him. Yeah. All right. So before we start, let's start with a little announcement. Of course, everybody knows Oilers Live Cup is coming, or you should know. If you don't know, if you listen to me, you should know. Oh, wait a second here. Okay. Hold on one second. We got a caller. I'm going to take this in about 2 seconds, caller. Let me just finish talking about the Oilers Live Cup. December 9th, and it is 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Downtown Community Arena. No registration fees. Just come on out, and all proceeds, 100% are going to the Chinook Autism Society. After we're done, we're going to the Hat on Jasper. Have a little bit of fun. All right. Let's take the first caller of the night. Dr. Boilers. I don't know if that... sometimes my screener doesn't always work. Welcome. Who's calling?
Hey, what's up? It's Sean.
Oh, hey, Sean. I got you super loud. I don't know if people can hear me, and everybody always complains my audio's down too low and callers are up. That one just about blew my eardrums.
All right, I turned my phone down.
Yeah,
Is that better?
yeah. No, that's good for me now. Good. How's it going?
Good. I said SBR Oilers, and somehow it came out as Doctor.
Yeah, it came out as, hey, Dr. Boilers. Yes, Dr. Boilers. SPR. Good man. We've got lots to talk about with the Oilers game tonight, but I saw you were tweeting about McLeod and Maximov going head-to-head tonight. How'd that one go first?
Niagara ended up winning 3-1. Maximoff and McLeod, they were both kind of quiet, to be honest. Neither one of them did a whole lot. They had some chances, but for the most part, it was a relatively quiet night for both of them. But they play again tomorrow night. It's a home and home, so hopefully you'll see a little bit more offensive production.
And you were a bit critical on McLeod at one point. What did you see about him tonight?
Well, he has so much speed, right? He almost kind of reminds me of McDavid, where speed is his biggest strength. And a lot of times, especially in the power play, he doesn't really use that at all. He just kind of stands there, doesn't move his feet, and then he lets guys kind of get to him, and he ends up coughing up the puck or whatever. But it's hard to be critical because he is good in a lot of different areas. It's just the one thing that I kind of wish he improved on a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's good. So, Were you at the game, or you just watched it on TV?
No, just watched the game on TV here.
Yeah, good.
Little pre-gaming before the Oilers game.
Yeah. Well, great game tonight. What first thoughts? Couple of good things, and then maybe what one thing you might have improved with the Oilers tonight.
Well, congratulations to Mikko Koskinen. He took a lot of flack from fans early in the year. That's fucking awesome. I'm glad he had a big game, and the guys look like they really wanted him to get that too. So, so that's a huge positive. And then Drake Caggiula has taken a lot of heat from a lot of fans, myself included. At least for tonight, he kind of proved the doubters wrong. He had a fantastic game, and to be honest, whenever he's in the lineup, he always brings the energy. I've never really questioned that. I always kind of question his hands a little bit, and he can't really score outside of 5 feet, but fuck, you keep going hard to the net like that, especially with McDavid on your line, good things are going to happen. So, and then the last positive thing I just want to say is it's great that even moving forward with this team, it's great to have that secondary scoring and Tobias Reeder and Draisaitl and Chase on. That's just, those guys going, that is just huge for this team. Like McDavid only had an assist tonight, and those guys they could have had 5 goals easily. I think Chason and Draisaitl hit posts, and Reeder in the first period there, Ward made a huge save on a one-time shot. That's great for the team. And I was really, I thought that was really awesome too. When Reeder it was a 2-on-1, and Reeder could have, basically 2-on-0, and Reeder could have shot and went for his first goal of the year, and he kind of faked like he was going to shoot, and instead deferred, pass off to Chason for a tap in. I thought that was awesome too. I don't know. I'm excited. It was a fantastic game. As far as the negatives, I don't really have any negatives right now. I'm just going to stay positive and enjoy the win. It's great.
Right on. So Kelly, Mr. BLH himself, says you think Yamo was keeping Caggiula's seat warm on the first line.
Yeah, maybe. Well, again, we got to kind of keep this in perspective, right? It's only one game. He didn't have a great game at all, Caggiula. The previous game,
yeah.
And historically, his numbers, have been terrible with McDavid. So, but for one night, we cannot rip him and pat him on the back and cheer for him. He had a good game. Moving forward, is that going to continue? I don't know. We'll see. But at least he's kind of keeping the seat warm, maybe for Ratty when he comes back, right? And he can just kind of pick up where he left off. But yeah, good on Drake, because he's like he said, he doesn't have a lot of fans out there, at least in the top 6. People that want him in the top 6. But
yeah.
He's proven everybody wrong, so good for him.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Like, I think the one thing about Caggiula for me is that at the beginning of the season, or even in preseason, it was a big disappointment, right? And he played his way back into the lineup. Like, I think that's that's awesome. Like all the power to you. If you, I'll be the first who sometimes is quite critical of a guy, but I'll be the first that can get back on the good side with the player if they play their way into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
well, he deserves it, right? Like Edmonton fans, everybody loves blue collar players, right? And the way Caggiula's playing, he's bringing it every night. So it's hard to root against the guy. And if he continues to get goals like this, just banging away at the net, then whatever. Nobody's going to knock him. I think the issue is with most fans is they just don't like how much McClellan seems to give him a push up in the lineup, but he deserves it right now. So good on him. Yeah,
absolutely. Your thoughts? I mean, it's going to be talked about, right? Puljujarvi gets back into the lineup. What were your thoughts on his game so far?
Yeah, I thought he had a decent game. He had a chance there to score a goal, and it looked like he had a little bit more intensity, and he gave the puck away earlier behind the back off the boards kind of thing. But for the most part, I think he looked pretty good, and he at least deserves another shot in the lineup the next game. I mean, you can't have that guy sitting. You either got to play him or you got to send him down to the minors. He can't be eating popcorn. Not at this stage in his career. He's got to continue to play. So I think it was a good first game. I feel like he has more to give. Like, we kind of saw the glimpses of it in the preseason. We know what he's capable of. Now, mind you, that was against half a roster full of NHLers and AHLers, but he can definitely bring it up a couple more notches, I think. But tonight was a good first step.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought he looked a little bit nervous at times, which if he's just a young guy, right? And so it doesn't surprise me. But I thought he had a good game, and he had some chances, right? He had a couple of really good chances. That one play was a beauty, where he immediately went to the front of the net and just couldn't sneak it past Ward. But I thought he was good. Kelly again says, any room for Yamo now in this lineup?
Probably not right now. I mean, it's interchangeable, right? Like between Caggiula and Puljujarvi and Yamamoto. Then when Ratty comes back, there is going to be an influx of right wingers. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Who would you, if you had to send one of the two down, Puljujarvi or Yamamoto, who would you send down?
Wow. I'm probably getting a lot of shit from this from one of our regular Twitter followers. You know who you are, but I'd probably send Puljujarvi down. I actually, I think, the reason I would send him down, though, is not because of Puljujarvi. I'd probably send him down because, what everybody's been saying. I mean, McClellan just hasn't seemed to want to play him in those areas where we need him to be played, I think, right? And you know what? Kelly says he'd send them both down. I'd probably side more with that. Like, I really still think it's too early for Yamamoto. And then when Ratty's back and you've got Caggiula in there, yeah, why not? I mean, I actually don't see any problem with it. By the way, I've really made it big because I've got porn bots in my chat room right now. You've made it when I've got a couple on there that are retweeting basically everything somebody says and putting a little emoji after. Anyway, yeah. Nice. Would you consider that sending them both down?
I don't know. I think personally, I'd still prefer Puljujarvi to stay up. Like, this is his third NHL season. I feel like he has the skill to be in the top six. For him, it's just, the skill's there. You just got to kind of tap into that, unlock that. Whereas Yamamoto, I think he's a good checker. I think he plays a good defensive game. I'm totally comfortable with him playing on the third line. He plays with Lucic and Strome. That's totally fine by me. And then maybe when Ratty comes back, you just move Caggiula. I guess you move him to the fourth line. Let's assume Caggiula goes cold here for a game or two. You can always move him to the fourth line. He can still give you that energy, those energy shifts, and maybe chip in the odd goal on the fourth line, and maybe a guy like Kara gets bumped out. But, I mean, Puljujärvi, just from a skill standpoint, I just feel like there's so much more to give there, and I don't see how the AHL is going to do a whole lot for him. I mean, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just kind of putting too much faith in the player at this point, but I think when he played 2 games or whatever it was with Draisaitl on the second line, but Draisaitl played awful both of those games. Even Draisaitl admitted he wasn't the same player there. He was kind of struggling. Well, it seems like he's back now.
He's definitely back, yeah.
But then you can't really bump Chiasson out of there either right now. So I don't know. It's a tough call.
I think let's go back to Draisaitl. I mean, we could beat that one down, really, the whole, who's going to go down. But let's talk about Draisaitl. I mean, since that Pittsburgh game, he's back to playing the way we've expected him to play. And tonight there were a couple times where, he was handling the puck really well. He made a couple end-to-end almost, and he's looking really, really good. It's finally like I don't know what he needed. Was it the Malkin Draisaitl connection there? I don't know. But he's been, I think, outstanding. He's back to what we'd expect from him. And
I agree. I think that game was kind of the turning point for him. And then I think the next game was what? The next game was Nashville. I don't think he had the greatest game there, but ever since then he's been really solid, right? So, but he's always been a perennial slow starter.
Yeah.
Right. Even by his own admission. So, I was never really too worried. So he's been great right now.
Vance, he says Benning looked better, but he'd still have Bouchard in over him. I would have my personal opinion is I'd have Bouchard in over Benning every night, but my feeling is we need to send Bouchard back. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same idea. I'm pretty certain that Bouchard is pretty much say it's a slam dunk. Kind of said that all along. Bouchard will be back before the 9 games. Ideally, and it's funny, I did a poll there yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, or 2 nights ago. I said, for Oilers fans, which defensive pair do you have more confidence in, Jason Garrison and Matt Benning, or Kevin Gravel and Ethan Bear? And it was like 82% preferred Kevin Gravel and Ethan Bear. So goes to show you the confidence Oilers fans have in that third pair right now. But I would send Bouchard back for sure, and then I would bring up both of them. I'd bring up Bear and I'd bring up Gravel.
Yeah.
Even though Jason Garrison scored tonight, I don't know.
I don't think a guy, to me. I mean, I'm happy for him, and I'm happy Garrison scored, but I've just not. He doesn't have the legs anymore to be back there. There's not been a game where I didn't think he looked slow. And, whether you keep him around the team because he's a veteran presence or what Kelly says he voted Garrison. I've liked Gravel's play and I think Ethan Bear's got some experience in the league. So, I'd be all right with either. At the end of the day, right? I have been critical on Garrison, and it's mostly because of foot speed, and the shot. There's no doubt. I mean, that's how he made it in Florida, right? Was that shot on the power play? But you're not going to take Clefbaum off the first unit, right? So, and you have McDavid out there. That second unit, I don't know how much time have they actually had. Up until I think it was game 4 or 5, they didn't even have a shot on net and on the power play. So, I just don't think he's done enough to stick around. But again, that veteran presence. I mean, Kelly's been chatting a lot tonight, but he was big on us losing Hendricks and big on that, being a part of the team last year. I think who knows what that means, but I'm no doubt Garrison brings that. Any time I've listened to him talk, he's a mature and a good guy. He probably does bring a certain dynamic to the team. What about the Nurse Davidson thing? I noticed Cassian too was on Davidson earlier. I thought, geez, somebody made the comment on Twitter. I said he must have been going to the museum when everybody else was going out. Davidson was public enemy number one, it seemed, tonight.
I don't know. He ruffled some feathers for sure. I don't know if there's some history there or what, but I noticed with Cassian, I don't know if he knew it was Davey at the time, and he's got longer hair now too. He was kind of going at him, and then as soon as he saw Brendan Manning, though, then his eyes just lit up, and he tried to get at Manning. This is Cassian I'm talking about. He tried to get at Manning. I don't know if you saw that, but
no, I missed that part. I saw him, of course, grabbing the back of Davidson's helmet, but that's a typical move anyway.
And then Cassian was running guys there with like 5 minutes to go. He was going around just lighting people off, right? So I think Davey kind of took exception to that as well, and he was just trying to finish his check, and Nurse was kind of going down as he was trying to hit him, but it almost looked like Nurse got knocked out for a second, and he just kind of got up and was just like, "Whoa, what the fuck happened?" And he just went nuts. But lucky for Davey, because if Nurse got a hold of him, he would have just destroyed him.
It would have been ugly. Actually, they were saying they should have just let him go. I don't know. I mean, there's no way Davidson gets the upper hand on Nurse in a scrap.
No.
In fact, I've been I love watching Nurse fight, and I can't see it. Mr. Truman says Garrison is improving his play. I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Garrison has looked better. I just still don't think he's fast enough. Kara, let's talk about Kara, because not much has been talked about with him other than he sat out the one game, right? But he's been in every other time. Is it is it that we don't have enough guys to man the fourth line? I just don't think Kara is the one that surprises me. We talked about Caggiula in the preseason not looking good. Kara, I thought, looked great in the preseason. I thought maybe he might even end up getting some second line minutes at some point this year. He hasn't looked like he's deserved it. He looks like he maybe deserves a couple nights in the press box, if you ask me. Although he did
I don't know what
assist tonight, right?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he got an assist tonight, I think, right?
Did he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
he's I don't know what's up with him. Like the end of last year, he was looking great, looking dominant, and then in the preseason he was fighting and he was hitting and he just looked confident. But I don't know if it was that fight with Kevin Miller there in preseason where I guess he got his brain scrambled a little bit. He just doesn't seem like he's the same player that we've seen in the last 6 months or so. And to be honest, you don't really notice him too much out there. So I think, maybe when Ratty comes back, maybe Caggiula goes down and just takes Kara's spot and he sits for a few games because he's not really having that much of an impact.
Yeah. Which
is too bad.
Are they're talking like that Ratty might be back next game. He took some rushes with McDavid and Nuge in practice, I guess, yesterday or today. What's Detroit? Detroit's on Saturday, right? I think that's next game.
Yes.
Yeah. How's I think Ratty's back. So what do you do? What do you think lines are going to be once Ratty's back? Obviously, if he's taking rushes with those guys, the intention is to put him back up there. What do you do? What do you put Caggiula? I don't think you can. I'd love to see the Chase on Draisaitl Reeder line stay together, right?
Yeah.
You put Caggiula. I guess hate to say it, but Puljujarvi sits again, or he gets sent down, right? As soon as Ratty gets back, right? Or do you put, because you can't put Puljujarvi on the fourth line. Maybe you put him on the third and put Caggiula back on the fourth line. I don't know.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that there's a whole shitload of Oilers fans going to the Detroit game on Saturday. A lot of Ontario fans, so watch for us. I assume the Oilers are going to blow them away, and you'll see all us down in the lower bowl just going crazy. So
Right on.
keep an eye out for that. And, so as far as Ratty goes, I think McLellan, I just heard briefly before I came on, he was saying, I think somebody asked him if he was going to play the top line, take his spot back, and he said, well, I think he said he was rusty or something. It takes some time to get him acclimated back in the lineup. So the way Caggiula is playing, they'll probably just take Ratty and just replace him with Kara, just put him on the fourth line for now. And then as soon as Caggiula slumps or Ratty starts to heat up, they'll probably just make the switch. I find it hard to kind of, you don't want to replace that second line right now. And then if they want to keep, you can't take Puljujarvi back out. He just sat for 4 games.
Yeah.
He plays 1 game and they're going to take him back out again. I think Kara's probably the play. You take him out, let him sit and put Ratty in there for now. Ease him back into the lineup.
Yeah, funny. I'm just talking about that, and I completely overlooked the fact that you could sit Kara. Kassian, how have you felt about him since? Most disappointing thing for me with Kassian is just he's not the guy he used to be. I don't know if it's age catching up with him or what, or drive, but tonight he had a little bit of feistiness to him. I think he needs to fabricate that within himself, right? Like nobody, there's a lot of guys like that in the league that nobody wants to kind of get moving, right? And I think Kassian's one of them. People, will stay away from him and just not listen to him. So he's got to kind of get in there on his own. Lucic was like that last year, but this year he's been bringing it every game. And he seems to kind of fabricate that himself, which is what a guy like Kassian needs to do. I'd say though, if I was to take Kassian or Kara right now, I'd probably put Kassian out and let Kara sit for a game or 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kassian's played better. It almost seems like once that came out that he, his agent or whoever put that out, that he was open for a trade, and then he got that reassurance, and he kind of, cleared it all up. All of a sudden, it almost seemed like he was rejuvenated. He came back out and he felt good about himself, and then he got a goal, and then all of a sudden it kind of felt like, the old Kassian's back a bit. I don't know what the situation was, what was going down there, but yeah, I think I would definitely keep Kassian in there for now over Kara. Because, again, Kara's not really doing a whole lot. I mean, he penalty kills a bit, but so does Kassian, right? So I think he does anyways.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know.
He does, yeah.
That's funny with the penalty kill. Like, they've got so many guys out there. They rotate. Like, Draisaitl was out there in the penalty kill. Sometimes McDavid's out there at the end. Like, they pretty much go through, 8, 9 guys. They rotate through on the penalty kill, which seems a little bit odd, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the penalty kill has not been great so far. I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit odd. We'd talk about Kara being on a penalty kill, by the way. That's when he got his assist tonight. Was the shorty, the Caggiula shorty. Yeah, it is odd, right? Like, they don't have any specialists, really. They looked better tonight than, obviously, they did the other night. Although, a couple of those, I think people were a little bit too critical of the other night in terms of the penalty kill. You're going to have nights where you go, 0 for 3, I guess, or 3 for 3 if you want for Minnesota on the power play. But yeah, I think it would be nice to see if they did have, nice to have them have, some guys that are, out there all the time. I thought everybody, I think you, me, everybody thought Brodziak was going to be that guy, but we haven't really seen him much on the PK.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, but the league's been different this year too, right? I mean, it's this to me, and maybe I'm wrong. Tell me what your thoughts are. But to me, this year is the first true year that we've seen speed rule a little bit more. Like I think last year was more of a transition year, but it's been noticeable to me this year. Your thoughts on that?
What do you mean, the speed on the penalty kill?
Speed everywhere, right? Like, you know, every line, every player, little guy is going to make it in this league now. And I mean, they've been, let's be honest, they've been calling penalties in favor of that type of game. You know, this to me is like, it seems to be the year that, you know, the little speedy guy is going to make it. And the Yamamotos, the Gaudreau is, you know, he's always been good, but there's always going to be a couple of those guys. You know, there's a number of players in the league right now. Pedersen, right? These little guys that you know, they don't weigh much, right? Like you can push them around, but they've got slick hands and they're fast. You know, Toby Reeder is incredibly fast too. He just doesn't have the hands. There's been a couple times where I've seen Toby Reeder skating, and I thought it was McDavid until I saw the number on his back. Not with the puck, not when he's got the puck. Yeah. When he's got the puck, it's not as bad. Mike Dursa says the YouTube feed is not as delayed as the Twitter one. So if you want a, that's just Mike. That's just me. That's delayed. I'm the slow one. But yeah, if you want, you can chat on there. Sound is good. Thanks, Mike, for the feedback. Okay, so we're going into Detroit. You're going to be at that game. How many guys so far have you rounded up for that?
We've got 10 on Twitter, and then everybody's bringing buddies or whatever. So we're looking at, I think we're at about 20 now. 20 Oilers fans that'll be there that we all kind of know, right? So we're hoping we end up in the, you know, at some point in the same section, and then we can just be loud as shit, right? That'd be awesome. And the thing is with Detroit, there's so many empty seats. Like I just looked on my section there today, and I got really good seats.
Yeah.
I just checked today our section, and there's a ton of empty seats still available for resale, right? So we can all end up in the same spot. And somebody even mentioned a buddy of mine, Stefan, who will be there. He said that he was at a Detroit game there not too long ago, and they start putting black covers on the seats for television so that people don't see how many empty red seats there are. They're covering the red up with the black. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So I assume Oilers fans are just going to take over, right?
That'd be awesome. They, I mean, there's, well, if you know 20, there's got to be a lot more than that there. That anybody in particular, any notables on our Twitter list? Without, I guess that could get you in trouble. You might forget somebody. Say it anyway. Who do you know? Who do we know that might be out there? Somebody that we've interacted with quite a bit.
Well, there's Kev Rock.
Oh yeah,
I think he's on the chat there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the chat. He said he slagged me something. I said something he didn't like. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Call on in, Kev Rock, and let us know. Okay, so he's going to be out there in Detroit. That's awesome. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah. Ian _Hamilton01. At New Wave Oil, Jeff Chapman. He'll be there.
Oh, right on. Isn't he from Edmonton?
Who's that?
Jeff Chapman, New Wave Oil. Isn't
he? I think he's from Buffalo.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason he was. I thought he lived in Edmonton for some reason. I guess I'm wrong there.
Maybe he did before. I think he's from Buffalo. And then there's at Deemer0797. He goes by WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember recent. He might be from Toronto or Buffalo. He's around that area. At El Nate tweets. El Nate, he's flying in from Edmonton.
Yeah.
And then There's at Wasman24. That's my buddy Stefan. He's a London Knights fan. He's from London and an Oilers fan. He'll be there. At Scott Marceau. He's from Sarnia. He'll be there. At Doug DHB. He's from Edmonton. I guess he's flying in. He's hitting a couple of different games. He's going to the Oilers game, and I think he said the Blackhawks game the next day or something. And of course Mike Toilers at Toyboy48. He's going to be there as well.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
He lives in Windsor. He lives in Windsor, so it's not a very far drive for him.
That's awesome. He of course he called in last week, and I'm not sure he even remembers calling in.
I didn't hear the episode, but
yeah, no,
he was
heard. He sat in for a couple, and it was great. It was good. Anyway, he's one of the more positive Twitter folks out there, and always fun to interact with. Jeff Chapman, Buffalo. Hey, but the reason I thought he was in Edmonton is he writes Copper and writes for Copper and Blue or SB Nation. So yeah, I've read some of his stuff I think in the past, but not a Buffalo fan. That's funny.
Yeah, I got to get up early soon, so I'm hoping Kev Rock or somebody else calls in here to take my place.
Well, yeah.
Is that Toy Boy?
Toy Boy is the man. Wandering hands on that guy, Kelly said. Well, I've not had him in studio, but well, you never know.
Yeah.
All right, call in, Kev Rock. Let's hear what you have to say. I know Matt Kulak said he might call in too, give me some of his thoughts on. I can't remember who it was now, but everybody call in. We've got open lines, so 587-907-5483. That's 587-907 live. And I can take as many callers. I can take up to 5 callers at the same time. But, Sean and I have hosted other callers before. Of course, Kev Rock, I think Sean's got to get up early, so he might head out for the night. The one night I did this, I had 4 or 5 callers going at waiting to talk. I think you were on that one. Maybe not. And
is that the one where I was at the casino and then dirtbag called in? Yeah, maybe.
was that the one where the kid called in? Remember that? The kid calls in and says something about their cat dying or something. Do you remember?
Yeah, somebody's missing. Help? Well, I don't know.
Yeah. So you know what? I still have the recording. I never published that recording on the podcast channel, but I still have that recording. I want to go back and listen to that. So for those of you that don't know, there was a night that I had Kelly on and SPR on, and that's right. Kelly says, "How's the cat?" And some kid calls into the caller line, and so I pick it up and say, "Hey, you're on Oilers Live." And the kid starts talking about my cat died, and Granny, wants me to go. I don't know. Anyway, it was the craziest thing. So but that's the first time I've ever blocked a kid. Oh, yeah, she ran over the neighbor's cat and wanted to know what she should do. So we hope the cat's all right. One thing that really pissed me off tonight, if I can say, is the Flames coming back.
Oh, you're gonna be Debbie. You're gonna be Debbie Downer.
No,
right.
It's the Flames coming back from a 4-1 game. Varlamov looked like a sieve in the third period.
Yeah, of course. I tweeted out when it was 4-1. I said, "Aha, fuck you, Flames, whatever." It's 4-1, and then of course they come back. So, just my luck. I jinxed it as usual.
Oh man. All right, 587-907-5483. Let's get a couple people calling. I know a couple of you are good for a call in. We got Mega Thread Mike Dursa, who has his one shot at being captain of a hockey team, and GM, by the way. and it's too bad. Too bad that he's got to go up against me, because leadership skills are at stake here. But team heavy hockey is So let's talk about my hockey game. I played hockey last night, which is not unusual. I've actually got this Hockey Helps the Homeless tournament tomorrow night. Thanks for donating, Sean. So I got 3 games tomorrow. Dana Merzen is on my team. You remember him from the Flames. Yeah. And but last night I played, and I was feeling very Connor-esque, and I had 4 breakaways. And instead of being like Connor, I was a little bit more like Brian Marchant. I couldn't score for the life of me. Remember, Marchant used to get like 2-3 breakaways a game, and
Todd Marchant?
Yeah.
I think you said Brian.
No, not Marchment you're thinking of, but Todd Marchant was fast and speedy when he played for the Oilers. And and he used to get he'd get like 3-4 breakaways a game. But he couldn't put the puck behind the goalie. And that's exactly the problem I had last night. And as weird as it sounds, the goalie was tiny, and he was playing he was cheating well over to his blocker side. Like he was almost like half on the post. And I always come in from the left side, and for some reason it was really screwing me up. And I couldn't even hit the net. So I felt, anyway, I shouldn't even say that. I'm gonna publish this. Now people are going to know I've got cement hands. But they'll come back to me when it's time for Oilerslive Cup. It's too bad you can't make it out, hey? December 9th?
No, unfortunately not. But maybe next year. If you're doing this as a yearly thing, I'll plan ahead, and we'll go ahead and come out next year.
Somebody just says I'd probably get blocked if I called. You know what? Call in anyway. Why not? 587-907-5483. This is brand new territory for me since I've started. As you know, I started pretty much on New Year's Eve last year, and it has been all negative all the time, and it's been crazy. I think at one point, I think you might have been on the same episode, I said, I can't believe that I started a podcast when the Oilers are doing so shitty. And then, I kind of half expected that we'd have more of the same at the beginning part of this year with Pittsburgh and Washington and Nashville, and to be 7-4-1. And then to be riding into Detroit, of all places, 7-4-1 at the beginning of the season. That's awesome. So we do have a call-in user. So in queue coming up, we're just waiting for the screener to get through with our. It's a 905 area code. Where's that?
That's Toronto, so it's probably Kev Rock. I can stick around for a few more minutes.
Yeah. Let's see who it is. Let's just see. The auto screen is on right now. It's processing audio, so I'm a little bit. It is Kev Rock. You want to talk a little bit of? I knew it was. I figured. So I'm going to give him a second before we add him on. Remember, I said he was slagging me, and it was my Puljujärvi comments. I'm going to guess he was getting upset because I said push Puljujärvi down. All right, Kevin, you are officially on. How's it going?
Hi, buddy. Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling in from the TO. Right? Whereabouts are you in there?
Yeah. About an hour north of Toronto, unfortunately.
Yeah. What's it like to be Oilers fan, first off, in the heart of Leafs territory? Is it difficult?
It's not too bad, actually. I don't get too much of a hard time because there's not so many of us, right? So everybody understands I grew up blocks away from the Coliseum, and I watched Stanley Cups, parade down the block. So everybody understands that, and but I'm sure taking a lot of grief this year, or at
Wait a
least I
second,
was.
Kevin,
So.
they don't understand Stanley Cup parades out there. Nobody understands.
No, they don't. But they plan them early, so.
Yeah, they sure know how to plan a good parade. All right, you got Sean on. Have you met Sean before?
No, not yet. We're gonna meet up this weekend, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
Take us over to Harry's, I guess.
Have a few pops.
Is that
the official, unofficial spot, right?
I think so.
I heard that the right around that area, that Detroit arena, is pretty rough. But then Kev Rock, you said you grew up a couple blocks from the Coliseum, so that'll be nothing for you.
Yeah, Cromdale is a little. I don't know if they can match. So
yeah. So okay. First off, what's your beef with with my comments?
Well. And I've been talking with many people over the past couple of weeks here about Puljujarvi there, and little Jesse.
Yeah.
That I just don't think he's gotten a fair shot, man. And I'm not even talking about being up on the first line with McDavid. Just the fact that the guy is like getting like 7 to 9 minutes a night. And really, what do we expect from a player who's getting 9 minutes a night, right? I mean, on top of that, he is still the youngest player on the team, is he not? So, I just wonder why Kyler gets so much slack cut to him, and I know why, but we won't say small man or anything, it just more is expected from Jesse because he's 6'3", I mean, that's not fair. He's still a young player. He's adjusting, he's growing and he's just not getting the same opportunities. So I just don't understand why everybody wants to bag on him, maybe give him 17 minutes a night, whether he's splitting on lines, but 9 minutes a night, how much are we going to get from anybody, right?
Yeah, and give him some power play time, for fuck's sakes. He's got like one of the best shots on the team. Can you not at least get him out there 5-on-4 to give him some confidence?
Yeah, exactly. I love Nuge. I mean, the power play's been doing fine, but I mean, really, is Nuge? Well, he scored a really nice goal from there the other night, but I think it's almost wasted. Like that should be Jesse's spot right there, where Nuge is playing. So it's unfortunate, and that would free up the second PP for Nuge to quarterback it. I mean it was his bread and butter to begin with, until McDavid came around. So
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I just want more opportunity for Jesse, before people are bagging on him, because I think he's doing what he can do, and everybody's talking about confidence and, he needs to go down and get it. No, he just needs to play and get in the flow, man. I mean, we all play hockey, you get cold.
Yeah.
So.
So what do you guys, and Sean, just before you go, this is what I'm curious. All right, we'll start with SPR, and then Kev, you can have your say. What I'm curious about is are you guys sold on the power play? Like, it hasn't been bad. It's been middle of the pack this year. My feeling is a lot of the goals have been scored on the rush, which is, I mean, that's still part of the power play. But what's your thought on the power play this year so far, Sean?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, like it's a bunch of the goals have been scored on the rush. You could have had a righty on there, you would have got the same results. This whole 5-lefty thing. I mean, Lucic really, I like Lucic. I actually love how he's playing this year, but he's not really doing a whole lot on the power play. They're not getting any goals. He's not really screening anybody. He's just kind of the side.
Throw Chason in there. That's what I think. Put Chason in there.
Huh?
Play that. Let Chason play that down low. Yeah. Yeah, I'd put Chason.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the whole thing I don't like is they play a perimeter power play. Like nobody really, they're not looking for one-timers in the slot. It's all back to the point, and then shots on net with Lucic trying to be in front, and that's about it. But anytime we let in a power play goal, there's fucking two guys on the other team in front of our net, plus both our defensemen have got to tie up those two guys. So our goalie's got to look through four guys at least, whereas the other teams, they got to just, Lucic is to the side. They really have a clean look. That's why Klefbom doesn't have a goal this year, and we only had one power play goal from a defenseman all season. There's just not enough traffic in front. I hate this fucking all perimeter shit. Just keep ringing it around the boards, and defensemen switch over to the other defenseman with a weak shot on net with nobody in front. They got to switch it up and at least have like we said, have that threat of a one-timer out there with Jesse or whoever, because it's just too easy to defend, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Kev, your thoughts?
Pretty much the exact same thing, besides the fact, we're seeing defense throw some shots in, but they're not taking the big shots, like Bouchard's even the other night, the guy's got a hell of a cannon on him and he's going to kill somebody at some point, but his goal even wasn't, just a big boomer. Like, we need that old Sheldon Souray type bomb from the point, rather than these little floaters. And like Sean said, we got to be collapsing on the net a little bit. We know why they're playing perimeter, because they're going for that, far angle snipe that McDavid and Draisaitl do so well and Nuge is catching on with. But like I said, I think it's wasted having Nuge on that left side. You should get Jesse in there, get the one-timer cranking, so you have it from the low slot, and then you'll have, Clefbaum or Bouchard up top, right? And we got to see some more heavier shots, like they're going for high percentage snipes all the time. So
there's
frustrating.
Yeah, there's something about there's something about Jesse though that the coaches aren't on board with, right? I mean, there's just no explanation for why he's not had those assignments at all. I mean, we have not seen anything even remotely closing in on, giving him the proper assignment and utilizing the skill set that we've seen from him, right? That the shot, there's got to be more to it, right? And is it a language thing? Is it just a personality thing between him and McClellan? We're not in the room, obviously, so there's no way to 100% know. But and that's why I think, Kev, I think that's why I'd just as well rather send him down if he's not going to get the right minutes, right? And I don't know. I don't know what you do. I really don't. I mean, he just has been not utilized in the way that you can't put a guy with his skill set on the same line as Strome, right? Like, I just don't think that you'll ever see what to expect. Strome has been he hasn't been he's not letting anything by him, but in terms of he's not been a defensive liability out there, but he's not certainly been anywhere near the offense that we need from that guy. Does Strome even have any points yet this year?
No, nothing yet.
Not even a single point?
Starting to look like Belanger a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, go straight for the jugular.
12 games, no points, man. We gave up Eberle for him, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, Eberle's only got a couple too himself, but
that's fair. That's fair.
Save some money, I guess. If nothing else. Well, actually, he's got 3 goals now.
Oh man,
But yeah, I can't disagree with your assessment on Jesse. You're absolutely right. If he's not getting minutes, he might as well go down to where he is going to get them, right? And there's a lot of talk about the extra practice time down there. Maybe the systems are what he needs to work on more. Like you said, we've seen the skill displayed, so it really galls me to not see him getting the opportunity to use it. And you're right, there's got to be something behind the scenes that we don't know about. But that's just it. We don't know about it. So all we know is the skills. And like I said, I don't feel getting the opportunity for it. So if he's not going to, then yeah, get gone, Yeah. But like I said, I don't think Kyler's done any better, honestly, besides the fact that, he's smaller and people appreciate that he's, grinding it out, which is good, You're smaller. You're going to have to work harder. That's all there is to it. Sorry. So.
Well, what popped in my head tonight was, you could put anybody on the same line with the Sundins, right? And they'd end up being, a top scorer in the league. And we have not seen that yet. We can't just seem to put anybody on the line with, Nuge and McDavid. Those two clearly have tons of chemistry. We got to find the guy. We got to find the one guy. And maybe it wasn't about you could put anybody on that line with the Sundins. Maybe it was more about putting the right guy on that line. And we just haven't found him. I think, I loved what I saw in Caggiula tonight. Sometimes maybe you need a grinder, right? A guy that's, going to do some of those things that Caggiula does. I don't know. I mean, this is one game, right? But then the one positive of McClellan this year is he hasn't fucked with those combos too much, right? Like he's kept Nuge and McDavid together, which I expected would be set apart early in the season, but he's been consistent that way, no doubt there. That's I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much a no-brainer. We're just hopefully the whole plan was just to get that second line going, right, with Draisaitl. Find somebody that can play with Draisaitl, and it looks like Reeder's a pretty good compliment, and now Chiasson on there too. He's at least riding a heater here. So, I mean, if this team has two lines going, who cares if Ryan Strome goes 0 for 82? Who really cares? As long as he saws off, as long as he's not giving up much, not leaking chances, him and Luch. I don't care if they don't score much, just don't give up much.
Yeah.
But if we can keep rolling those top two lines, I still think we'll be fine, right? But you just can't be a one-line team. So it's nice to see that second line. I thought they were awesome tonight, and in the last few games they've been good. Just keep that line rolling. They got some good chemistry.
Yeah, Toby really seems to be coming on every game. He's looking a little better, a little quicker. He's a dirty dude, right? So.
And him and Draisaitl seem to be getting some chemistry together, right? Like,
I
don't think I've got to learn how to yell "shoot" in German. Anybody know? I'll be at a lot of games this year. I'm gonna have to see. Oh man, I just did it on Google Translate, and there's some weird B letter in there. It's like Scheitzen. I have no idea.
Well, Reeder's got what, 7 points in the last 5 games or 6 games or something. Like he's
on a bit of a tear. He's on a bit of a tear. Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well lately.
Yeah, I believe he's got 7 assists now, right?
Yeah.
I thought he had a goal the other night. I'm not sure if something got corrected or something, but
he's had a lot of good chances, and even tonight in that first period, he had that hell of a one-timer there. I thought it was in for sure. But he's well. The thing is too, like he was a big scorer in junior too. Like he played for Kitchener. He had 42 goals one year, and like he's got a great one-timer. I think we saw it in the preseason there a little bit. He's just not really getting any puck luck right now. But as long as Draisaitl's happy and Draisaitl's playing well with Reeder playing with them, and you can see the chemistry even on the bench, like those two guys just chatting and laughing it up, eh? And as long as Draisaitl's happy and it's working, then I just say I don't care if he doesn't score. If he can just keep getting assists, that's fine. Just keep it going because Draisaitl's on a tear right now too. So don't mess with it.
Yeah, I'm really been big on Draisaitl lately. He's been outstanding. It's been and tonight just a couple of the moves and plays that he made. You can tell the confidence is back. He just wasn't playing with that confidence early on. I don't know what it was, but that Pittsburgh game sparked him. And if he plays like this all year, this is the team that we thought we had, right? 2 years ago, last year, I guess. It's the team that we had. Then we're closer to the team that we were 2 years ago than we are to the team we were last year. But 7-4-1. I'm probably most excited about that.
It's not even what the most wildly optimistic of us could have predicted, right?
No, I would not have. I would never would have said it.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, we haven't even played a divisional game yet. And the last 2 years, the Oilers have dominated in their division. And Anaheim's been playing like shit. LA's been playing like shit. We own Calgary. We'll bring Vancouver back down to earth. Like, we got some I think that's later this month. We got a bunch in Arizona, of course. We got a bunch of divisional games coming up. We could put some real distance between us and a lot of teams by winning those games. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, we're not far from that marker either. We're not far from the American Thanksgiving marker, right? Which that's we're 8 games from 20 right now. That's a big marker to be at. So we've got, obviously there's still some winning to be done, and we've got 2 hard games coming up with Tampa Bay and Washington. But go ahead, Kev Rock. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I vaguely recall seeing a schedule come out, it was a strength of schedule chart and stuff, and I do believe the Oilers were like 6th best or 7th best schedule.
They said they
on the basis for the year with back-to-backs and the such, right? And so we all knew that the start of the schedule was going to be the Dirty Bird, and it's almost done with now. Like you said, got that big speed bump next week there, but they won tonight. I'm pretty confident we're going to handle Detroit on Saturday and get over those next 2. And even if you pull a split, great, right? Like I said, even the most wildly optimistic of us, I don't think could have seen as good as this has been or is turning out to be. So just keep going with it, right?
Absolutely. Quick, guys, thoughts on Koskinen tonight. Thoughts on him in general. I mean, he's played 2 games. He's won both of them. What's your feeling? Maybe Kev, start with you quickly. I know, Sean, you got to go, so maybe I'll get your thoughts before you leave on Koskinen, and then I've got another quick question for you. But go ahead, Kev, your thoughts.
I'm happy, more than happy. I mean, I wasn't too critical on it. I'm not a big fan of Montoya. Didn't do much for us, so we needed an upgrade. We got an upgrade. Cost a little bit, but I don't know. It's looking value to me. I think the stats belied his play. In his last start there, it was looking real good until the end and got messy. But tonight, I mean, what can you say? 40 saves, shutout. It's been a long time. So
yeah, he's playing his size, right? He's playing his size. I mean, he's a big goalie, and some big goalies play too small. But he tries to cover the whole net, and he's pretty much big enough that he can. Your thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, he's a monster, eh?
Yeah.
Just an absolute monster.
Yep.
And the thing that I love, that blows me away, is he didn't even play for like a month. And then he has to go on the road at Nashville for his first fucking game in the NHL. And he played outstanding. And like Kev said, we got a little nervous there in the 3rd period. But, yeah, he plays with confidence. And I heard somebody saying, all the guys on the team, they have confidence in him. They want to play for him, kind of thing. That's a good sign. I hope that, it's funny. Well, I hope McCollum keeps playing him, and I heard he's going to play on this road trip coming up too. The way Talbot's been playing, he's had good games and then he's had some bad games. I don't think it's unrealistic to suggest that this could almost end up being a split here. If Koskinen keeps playing the way he is and Talbot keeps playing the way he is, he may earn himself a lot more starts down the stretch, which is a good thing. Healthy competition, right?
Yeah.
And plus he keeps Talbot fresh. So yeah, I think it's awesome right now.
Well, it's been some time since we've had a backup, I think, come in and win. Even maybe win 2 games like this, right? I can't. I certainly LB didn't do it. I can't remember Montoya's record from last year, but you got to have at least a little bit of confidence in the team, right? Like, or in your goalie behind you. You play a completely different game, and I think tonight you just want to know that your goalie's got those simple ones, right? There's some that some they're never going to stop, but if you can trust your goalie with the guy streaking down the left side, and you don't have to worry about getting in front of every shot, I think you've got yourself, a good backup. And that's exactly what what we need. Mike says, Sean had you had Mega Thread Mike howling about bringing the heat with getting Jesse on the power play time. Sean, before you take off, because I know there's a lot of people want to know what's your plans for the late night. When are we publishing a new episode?
Well, we're going to do a podcast in Detroit.
Oh, you are?
Interview all the people. Oh, yeah. We're going to interview everybody that's there, and we're going to kind of piece it all together. And if I'm not too pissed off at the hotel that night, I'll put it together. And if not, we'll throw it up the next day, and we'll just kind of do some interviews with some peeps, and maybe in between periods, we'll kind of get some fans' takes on what's happening, what we like, what we don't like, and then we'll do some post game as well. And yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to do it up nicely, I think. It'll be interesting.
All right, on. So, Kev, you gonna get in there and get a interview with the OilKnight?
I don't think he'd let me get away, but I'm just wondering if he's going to publish anything. By the way, he's going to be swearing by the end of the night. So, it's tough, when you got to drink a beer every interview, So.
Yep. Well, it's a good thing I have a pretty good tolerance, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I always ask Kev. I ask him before every podcast, before I publish them. I say, "Is there anything in there that's going to get me sued?" I might have to listen to this one if he's that in the that in the bag before it gets.
Well, I don't know who Kev's kidding. He's going to be all pissed. I'm going to interview him when he just pissed right up. He won't even remember the interview.
Yeah, he has been talking about that for a couple of months. So
we'll have a few Irish car bombs to get your stomach all warmed up, and it's going to be.
I'm Irish too, though. So.
All right, well, we're going to have some fun then.
Oh man, it's going to be ugly. I'm definitely going to listen before I publish this one.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sean, I'll let you go. I know you got an early night, and it's just after 1 there, 11 o'clock here. Lines are still open, folks. I'm going to stay on maybe another half hour. Kev, you're welcome to stay around. 587-907-5483. Yeah, and Kevin, I know it's just after 1 there too, but if you got a couple minutes, please stay on. We'll let Sean get some sleep, get some beauty sleep, so he's ready for Saturday's game. When are you heading out to Detroit, by the way, Sean? Tomorrow or next day?
We're going Saturday. We're going to head down around 1 o'clock, get there around 3:30-ish.
Right on.
Get some pre-drinking at 4, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. I just want to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Mike, I don't know if you saw, but they just announced today that Ottawa is sending back Alex Formanton to the Knights. And I assume Evan Bouchard is going to be sent back. If they were going to keep him, they would have kept playing him by now, which means the Knights are going to be absolutely fucking loaded and hopefully make a Memorial Cup run. So that's great news. If Bouchard does get sent back, we're going to be stacked.
So just so that I have it on recording, if I plan a trip out there, do you have a ticket for me?
Oh. For sure, buddy.
Yeah, because they're sold out, aren't they, every night? Are they sold out every night there?
Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I got lots of buddies that if you need a ticket. Stefan is on there. Stefan Wazipko, I think, is at Wasman24. He's a season ticket holder on there as well. He can hook you up.
Yeah. Well, that's insane. So how many fans out for every game, roughly?
Oh, well, the building's packed every single game. And it's funny because the season ticket waiting list is, I think, 15 years or something.
Wow.
Something like that. 10 to 15 years season tickets, and it's always packed. Like, it's unbelievable.
That is that is awesome. Kelly says Bouchard's listed on the London Knights website. Yeah, he's still listed there. The lineup is a regular who's who on that lineup. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Like for you, I guess for Formanton, he'd probably rather stay up with the big club. But he is so speedy. Like he's unreal. His speed is. Some of the goals I saw him score were just unreal, so it's going to be exciting. I will definitely make a trip to London this year, especially if Bouchard comes down. So you and I will have to. I've got it. You're recorded, by the way, so it's there's no doubt. You guys, everybody heard it that's listening, all 5 of you. Sean's getting me in to watch London Knights. It's a 2-hour drive from Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
From downtown Toronto.
Yeah. We'll make it work. Awesome. Well, you have a great night, and I'm sure I won't talk to you before you leave. So enjoy your trip to Detroit. Try to stay out of trouble. We don't want any international incidents, but we'll be looking for you in the stands among the black seats.
Yeah.
Man, that's
all right. Have a good
awful.
one.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, John. Kev, you sticking around, or what's your plan?
Yeah, you betcha, buddy.
Awesome. Okay.
You betcha.
All right. So we've talked Koskinen tonight. We've talked some Caggiula, Nuge, and McDavid. I mean, what more can you say? McDavid continues to get a point a game at the very least. Where's he at in the stats after tonight? He's got to be. He's been moving up slowly. He was in 5th the other day. He's got to be around that still, I think. Rantanen is still in the lead. So McDavid is now in 3rd place with 19 points.
Tied for 3rd, right?
Yeah, tied for 3rd, yeah, with Bergeron. And point behind Malkin and 2 points behind Rantanen. So it could be by the end of the road trip he's sitting in 1st by himself. So we've got those 3. Reeder, Draisaitl, and Chason. I asked Sean, what's your thoughts? When Ratty comes back, do you keep that second line the same? Or do you change it up?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the second line. I think Keg's got to come off that first line, even though tonight, good job, buddy, full props, but I think he's got to come off there, and Ratty's got to, get his spot back. See how he plays, I'm not saying Kegs can't go back up there. But.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, it's not about that, right? Like, Kegs only spent, he's played 2 games up there, right? And one of them wasn't great, right? Like,
right.
So 50%, batting 50% with McDavid and Nuge. I think Ratty's proven that he can play with those 2. So I think if he comes back for Detroit, which I suspect he will, I think you got to put him out there. And then if he doesn't show,
I hope so.
Yeah, and if he doesn't show up, like if Ratty's not the player you want him to be on that top line, then you put Caggiula back in. Now the third line. What do you do there? You got Lucic, Strome. You know what? I've never even talked about taking Strome out. Do you keep Strome in? Are you happy with him? What's your thoughts on Strome?
No, not at all. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. What do you do with the third line? Maybe Strome needs to visit the press box, see it from up above like the kids are, I just don't know. He's making good rushes, and then nothing happens, It's almost like a waste of time. And anybody that's playing with him seems to fall into the black hole too, and no offense is coming. And so I think that has something to do with Jesse too, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe push Jujhar up there, get him onto the third line, run in the middle, get a little more physical with it.
Yeah, I think if you let's say you take Strome out, right? Like what do you really have though for a third line center?
Jujhar.
And he's played like crap, right? Glenn Ma, who's a good guy here. Yeah, Glenn Ma is a good guy. He says Strome is good on the PK. He's right there. And you know what? In fairness to Strome, he's been. I think he's been all right. as a two-way player this year. He's just not had the offense to go with it, right? Look at his stats. He's only -1 for the season. I'm not a big fan of plus-minus, but then again,
and that would be the goal that Crosby scored on him, right?
Yeah. Honestly, like Crosby has made all-stars look like fools, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Kelly says Strome plays a little taller with Luch on his wing. And I think you're right. What's your thought on Lucic this year? Everybody knows my thoughts. I think he's been great, but he's great because he's on the third line. Your thought?
Yeah, I'm a big Lucic fan. I'm actually wearing Lucic's jersey to the game on Saturday. So,
nice, good.
I'm more than happy with his efforts this year, and that's what we were saying last year, right? Like, pardon me. I was pretty close to the ice there in Buffalo last year, and I was probably giving Lucic a pretty hard time for floating around the middle. He wasn't hitting, and he certainly wasn't scoring. So
yeah,
I felt it was justified.
We got
that probably got a pretty evil stare from the guy. It's kind of it's kind of scary when he's that close, but it is what it is, and it's certainly not what it is this year, where he's hitting, he's engaging. As slow as he is, he's still getting forechecking. So
yeah,
I'm more than happy with him.
All right, I think we've got. Actually, I know we do. We've got Megathread Mike on to join us. Hold on, half a second, Kev. Are you part of the Megathread, by the way?
Yeah, you betcha.
All right, okay, here you go. Mike, you're online. Before you start, though, there's no moving around.
Mary.
No moving around, Mary. Hey, Mary. No moving around. Don't make. Last time you called in, it was quite noisy every time you'd move around. So keep it down. Our friend over there, Tangerine, says the Detroit interviews should be entertaining. I think she's probably right. Those will be between you, Kev, and Sean, and I can only imagine. I'm definitely going to be listening to that podcast. If you guys, for those that are listening tonight, if you don't know, there's on my channel, the Oilerslive channel, I host a couple of different things. One is this live show, which I just go by Oilerslive. The other is the Heavy Hockey Podcast, which I started this year, which will be my recorded interviews. So I just recently did one with Eric Friesen, and if you listen to me at all, I'm not, I'm not a heavy hitter. I'm just kind of like to chat some hockey. I don't call people out, anybody out, but that I leave to the guys at the late night with the OilKnight and Dirtbag Donnie, and the two of them are, one of my favorite listens as a fan. So if you're listening tonight and you get a chance, you can go back and listen to some of their old episodes, and the interviews that they do typically are quite funny, but the Detroit one should be highly entertaining. All right. Anyway, Mike, thanks for calling in. Quick thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that. It's good to see them kind of play a sound kind of defensive game. I know they gave up 40 shots, and Koskinen was a brick wall, but for the most part, I think he had good looks at the puck. His rebound control was a little bit sketchy, but he's making saves, and that's what you need, right?
Yeah. No, he. Did you think his rebound control was off? I didn't think it was too terrible. I thought a couple times he actually wasn't too bad in terms of putting the puck down. Like, for a big guy, I think that's always going to be a bit of a challenge, right? Especially when guys are shooting the puck low like they do in the NHL. They keep that puck down low. There were a couple times where he was definitely saved by the defense, but yeah, I get what you're saying. What about there were is there anything? I mean, we haven't really talked about it yet. But there were a couple times there during the game where we were really stuck in our own end, right? I think if in the case of last year, if that was our team, they'd just give up, right? And I think what was nice tonight and was great and a little bit of a change was the team carried on, right? Like they, despite being hemmed in our zone, it was good. It was good that they came back and they weren't maybe put down. And part of that goes to goaltending. We talk about Koskinen, right? Like if you have a goalie lets in an easy one, then sometimes you just kind of you give in for the night. Any other thoughts, Mike? Your thought on Puljujarvi's play tonight?
Well, I'll take it in just a hair of a different direction.
Sure.
Just on your other point there. I think one of the reasons why we're kind of getting out of our zone eventually here is big number 27. He's in the spot to get that first pass, and then he's making that little outlet pass, and it's on the tape, and it's going the other way. He's connecting on passes this year. It wasn't happening last year at all. On the SE front, I kind of think, yeah, he had a couple good looks out there, but I question his usage. Like it didn't seem to me like he had a lot of time. Once again, and yeah, to Sean's point, yeah, put him on the fucking power play already. Give him some time. I still think I like Lucic on that first unit, but I've said it over and over and over again since last year, since he was in his struggles. Bring in Ryan Smith. Get Ryan to teach him how to screen a goalie, where to stand, how to drive a goalie fucking nuts like he did with J.S. Jaguar, and tip pucks. And because you always need a garbage guy. You need a Tim Kerr, somebody that's going to clean up all that loose change in front of the net, somebody that you can't move. Lucic is that guy. You can't move him. Nobody can move him. He needs to know where to be, and he doesn't. Sean had a picture on his Twitter the other day of where Lucic was standing, and the goalie, he's not screened at all. Lucic is on his left side, about 2 feet out of the way. He needs to be right in front of that goalie's mask so he can't see, or he has to start bobbing his head, trying to look around him. He's a big frame. He's got to be in the right spot.
Yeah. And my thought on it was maybe we put Jason on there. Kev, what's your thought? I know you're a Lucic fan, right? So what's your thought there? What do we need to do?
Yeah, I am. But I like your idea, too. I mean, Jason's got his hands going, right? I think he's up about 40% shooting rate right now. So, and he's not a small guy either. So, I don't mind seeing him get a chance. Lucic hasn't really been doing much there, like saying, he's got to get in the grill a little bit more, I see him turning a lot more, saw a practice video the other day there where he's working on his deflections and stuff. But, again, if you're not scoring, lay the body. And if you're going to be the goalie screen, then be the goalie screen, don't be trying to go for the cheese and not quite screening them. So I could see Chase on up there. I don't know if the coaches are going to make that decision because I don't think things are looking dire there to that point, unfortunately. But, I'd like, maybe a second power play built with Nuge and Jason. Kegs is going to kick it up. Well, keep him there,
What about both you guys? Your thoughts on keeping Clefbaum on the D, or do you move him out? Because he's not done anything yet, right? On D,
nope.
As of yet.
Not much there.
Yeah, but
personally, I would have been running Bouchard there the whole time. But obviously he's been sick a couple of games now, and that's where I would have had him though.
And in my mind, the only reason you don't put Bouchard there is that's not where he. I don't think anybody had any intention of keeping him on the team, right? Whereas Clefbaum, you might as well get the reps in. That's my only thinking there. But I think if you thought Bouchard was going to stay, then I think putting him on the top power play made sense because he's got a wicked shot. You're right; he might kill somebody one day. But yeah, I think that's the only reason. The only reason he's not he wasn't playing top line. Mike, your thoughts?
That and he's right-handed.
Yeah. Always. Oh, it's always one smart ass. Scrub 64.
I got to try to keep up with John earlier. You know?
Yeah.
He was bringing the heat.
Well, yeah. Sean always does bring the heat. Scrub 64 was asking about the Nurse Davey thing, which we did talk about earlier. I thought, it felt a little bit like, and Cassian was giving Davey the gears too out and behind the net. It felt like Davey was a bit of a target tonight, and then Nurse and I honestly, as much as I'd love to see that fight, I was a big Davey fan when he was in Edmonton, when he played well. I mean, he was inconsistent too. But I think Nurse would have killed him. We might not have seen Davey ever again. You guys think there's anything going on there? Either of you?
Well, I think he was definitely upset that, Davey took the shot at him, and I don't think Davey was malicious about it at all. I think he was just following through, and Nurse happened to have his head down, which is pretty difficult for that monster too, right? So,
yeah.
Be reasonably upset for the hit, but I don't know of too much past that other than the fact that, obviously if you played with a guy, you're going to give him a little bit more than, the guy next to him. So just for fun, right?
That's the second time Nurse got hit like that this year. That was, it was like game 2 or game 3. He got rolled over when he was kind of down on one knee like that. Trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been Orpik with Washington. I'll have to go back and look, but that's the second time.
I think you're right, because that was the same night that boys, slashed on Ratty with the ref a foot away and didn't get the call somehow.
That's exactly what it was. And I thought I think I was yelling at the TV when Orpik hit Nurse. I'm pretty sure it was Orpik. Anyway, that was something tonight just to see.
Did anybody
Nurse that pumped?
Sorry.
Up. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Sorry. Did anybody comment on that? Because I was wondering why Nurse went off too.
Well,
it was just
it fell wrong. Is there a bit of concussion there, or why did he go off?
Well, I think they're just sensitive about the headshot, right? Period. I mean, I certainly would be. So,
what concussion protocol though, or was it precautionary, or is there something there? Like I listened to you, Mike, kind of after I kind of got organized. I didn't listen to Reed Wilkins or any post game stuff. I'm just wondering if there's an injury with Nurse there, or if that was just precautionary, or.
I think it's just the fact that there was only 2 minutes left, right? I mean, just get him off, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't hear anything. They didn't seem to think something was weird. At least on the, I wasn't at the game. Gave those tickets away.
No.
Hey, I'd be there. I'd be there any chance I could get. But instead, I had to draw those tickets off. Somebody, you know what? Here's something for you guys. And I always think people probably listen to mainly the first half hour, so I don't mind calling this out in the last half hour of if they listen to the recording. I have now given away 6 tickets, 6 sets in this season. It's been and that includes preseason games. I have had 2 people reach out to me and say thank you. One of them I will call out is Miss Shea today, who went to the game. She said thank you and even and put the thanks on Twitter for that. And one of the reasons I've been happy to do it this year is because as you know, Kev Rock, and I'm going to get you to comment on who you think is going to win. But we've got the Team Mega Thread going up against Team Heavy Hockey in the first ever Oilers Live Cup. which is going to be there's. By the way, there's about 80 people registered now to come out to the downtown community arena, both as fans and as players. And then we're all going to the Hat on Jasper. If the Cromwell was still open, we'd probably go there. The forum, the forum might be still open. Is the forum open across from the old Coliseum? Anyway, what's your? That's why I've been doing it, because I want people to come and join and donate money to the Chinook Autism Society. Kev, you got what's your money on? Who's your money on? Team Heavy Hockey or Team Megathread?
I don't know. It seemed like you guys balanced them out pretty good there, you know? Yeah. I couldn't even pick, man.
This politician.
You know, I think I'm going to go with you because, you know, you took that first pick and it sounded like you had a little bit of scouting going on. So you're even being generous there, you know, you're like, oh, we'll do 2 picks. No, we'll do 1 pick, you know, I don't want to rig it here, you know, so I think I'm going to go with you and yours is Heavy Hockey, right?
Yeah. Team Heavy Hockey. Well, there you have it. Sorry, Mike, but all the pundits are saying Team Heavy Hockey.
Hey, I'm just like the stealth bomber. I just come in and you don't even know, and then boom, it's over.
I don't know if you heard earlier, Mike. I'm playing in the Hockey Helps the Homeless tournament in Calgary tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it is a good deal. I'll do a shout out for that tournament as well, because they play. Kev, you can play in Toronto as well, or anywhere near there. There's like 3 or 4 in that area. But I play here in Calgary. I play in Vancouver, and my intention is to play in the Edmonton event as well. I sit on the committee of Hockey Helps the Homeless here in Calgary, and you know, this is a great way, just like when we do the Oilerslive Cup. It's a great way to mix 2 passions, which is hockey and helping others. And I've seen some of the great work that Hockey Helps the Homeless has done in terms of. All the money stays locally, so if you know, in Calgary here, all the money stays with the local homeless shelters and community associations that help out in that regard, and they just do some great work, and it's really awesome. It's bar none, and I play in a ton of tournaments every year, but it is quite easily the best tournament I play in. So when you go, they make you feel like a pro. And every team has a pro on their team. And so you get there, you get a jersey with your name on the back. It's a Hockey Helps the Homeless jersey. I'll wear one on the air one day. And you get socks. Usually there's a water bottle or something there. They've got Gatorades in the room. Each team has a couple of people that make, you know, food runs for you and the whole deal. You play 3 games generally over the course of a day, and you have a couple of pros that are on your team usually. And it is honestly, if you ever get a chance, it's usually about $100. I think it's the same actually everywhere. It's $100 registration fee, and then you have to raise a minimum of $500 or pay it. Most people will raise it, and you get the $500 in, and they, you know, in here in Calgary, you know, we raise, you know, over $150,000, and in Vancouver they raise, you know, the Vancouver one's the biggest one, and they raise you know, a few $100,000 I think every year. But it's a yearly thing. In Edmonton, I know there's a couple Twitter folks. I think you guys familiar with Reg Curran? I'm pretty sure that he's on.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on the committee. I'm pretty sure I've seen him tweet about Hockey Helps the Homeless. I'm pretty sure he's on the Edmonton committee. I might be wrong, but there's a couple good guys out there that are on that. So anyway, enough about the tournament. Let's get back to Oilers hockey. I'm not going to stay online for too much more, but let's close it off tonight with your thoughts, guys, on the upcoming Detroit game. We'll start with Megathread Mike because Kev Rock might be thinking differently. He's going to be at the game. We'll get his opinion because he's going to be there. But Mike, your thoughts on the upcoming game? Obviously, Talbot's getting the start. We would think. Who's in, who's out, and we haven't played Detroit yet. They're my biggest worry in this game. I'll say this before you start is Edmonton. After playing some really tough teams, maybe takes them a little bit too lightly. Your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I think the Oilers have the right attitude this year. I don't know if we're going to get into that kind of dopey, taking teams too lightly kind of stuff right now. I think they have that burn, and I hope they ride it out a long way. As far as lineup changes, I wouldn't change anything, so undoubtedly McClellan probably will.
Well, Ratty is going to be back in, I would think. I think Ratty's going to be in, so there's going to be a change for sure. Somebody's got to sit. So I think.
Yeah. They also might look at putting Yamamoto back in. They might not sit him 2 in a row.
Fair enough. That's true. So you think Edmonton's got this one? Any prediction right now?
Oh, let's go with. Let's say we're going to have a goal outburst. We'll go 5-2.
5-2. All right. And
feels conservative.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Scrub64 on Twitter just brought up. He thinks he'd love to see Bush back in. Mike, do you bring Bouchard back in for this game?
That becomes a question then. Who do you take out? Maybe Benning. Although Benning's been better, so I don't know if you want to mess with his confidence. I don't know. Stauffer today was seeming to think that they go to Detroit and they send Bouchard down. Maybe it's good to play him there if you're going to send him down because that's close to home for him. I don't know. I like Evan Bouchard. I thought this summer when I seen him though, what the concerns I had were his own end and his defensive play. I think he's treading water there. And I'm not sure him going back to junior is going to actually improve his defensive play at the NHL level. I'm not sure. I don't think he has much more to prove in junior. Maybe taking a run at the Memorial Cup where the play gets ratcheted up even more, and kind of the World Junior stage where it's the best of the best and not, a little bit lesser competition that you have in sort of your regular OHL league.
Yep.
Might do him some good, but really I think Bouchard is best suited in the AHL and he can't go there. So, that's why I work at a flooring store and not in the NHL.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Kev Rock, your thoughts?
Yeah, that seems to make sense. Maybe give Bush his 8th game in Detroit and then, send him back to London. I'm not sure that it's the decision I would make, but the same thing. I'm not the NHL GM, I still think he's the best passer that we have on our blue line, so I'd rather keep him up there to keep feeding those bombs down to McDavid, but yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. So I expect him to get sent down this weekend as well. I expect a dominating game on Saturday for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll see about next week. It's a big speed bump. It's an opportunity. That's the word McClellan likes, right? Opportunity. 2 big games next week. What if they come out, on the positive side of both those games? Then what? Then what are we looking at, right? So.
Yeah, you know what? yeah, if we did, I mean Washington and T-Bay back to back. Well, I guess there's a day in between. That's going to be something. If you can win one of those two, I think that's a success. Both firing. In fact, Detroit, we're talking about that, them taking that too lightly. They're riding a 3-game win streak as well. My thoughts, guys, on Bouchard. You get 9 games, right?
Yeah.
They can play. So I think you got to play him the whole 9. They're going to stay on the East Coast. So maybe if you do send him back, you send him in Washington. It was Washington against Washington. He scored. Maybe let him, finish off his 9 in Washington, and I think give him back-to-back games, and let him play the next 2. I'm not too concerned about Benning's confidence. I'm probably the most critical guy on Benning. He's just not done anything for me that to watch as a player. To say that I love him on the team, I don't, and I didn't last year, and I still don't this year. So that's not fair to the player, because I've got this preconceived notion of who he is. But he's, to me, if I was in McClellan's boat, he's my Puljujarvi, right? Like I would treat him the way McClellan treats Puljujarvi, and people would love me or hate me for it. I think the Oilers do go into Detroit. They win one, and I'm confident they'll split Washington and Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is the scarier of the two teams in my mind. And then if it came down to playoffs, Washington would be the scarier of the two for me. But I think definitely. And then Talbot, I guess the question is, do we see Koskinen again? Play sooner than later after a good showing tonight for me. And then as far as sending Bouchard down, I completely think it's the right thing to do. I'm 110% behind sending him to London. Hearing Formanton's back is huge. Formanton is I wish he was playing for the Oilers. I love watching that kid play. And him and Bouchard should be able to lead the London Knights to Memorial Cup. Be an exciting season for him. And there's no doubt, Bouchard probably already knows what his fate is. And it's pretty obvious. I think they'd be playing him right now if they had any intention of keeping him on the team. But he knows his fate, and I'm sure he's getting excited to be back on that team. Probably excited that Formanton's going to be back. Excited for the World Juniors. Hockey in Canada is still doing well, and Bouchard's got a long career ahead of him. I'm excited to see him over the course of the next year. I do think. You guys both touched on it. His defensive play has been, maybe not 100%, right? But he's now had the chance, and I think they did it right. We've been critical about McClellan and the staff a little bit, but I think they did it right with Bouchard in letting him sit some games, get some views from the press box, practice with the team, learn what it's like to be an NHLer. Right? This is one of the few times that we've got ourselves what I think is a legitimate top pair prospect. And they're not pushing him. Like they're not rushing him into the league. I'm excited about him in the years to come. And the only
I got a question for both of you on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interject, Mike.
No, go ahead.
On the Bouchard front, do you think they treat him the same way if Seattle isn't coming on stream here. Do you think they send him down if Seattle isn't a part of the picture, or does that push the agenda here with him?
That's a good point. You know, I'd say no, except we can assume that the rules are going to be the same as they were for Vegas. So we're not going to be able to protect Sakara or Russell with their no movements. So yeah, it very well could from the management side.
Yeah, I don't think it's at play at all in my mind. Like you only lose one player, right? And I think that what are the rules? I did work this out because I was thinking down the same path. I think given the what they could protect, I think they'd be all right. You know, I think they'd be all right protecting Bouchard if they had to, right? You know, we didn't lose much in the Vegas one. Well, we lost the only thing we lost in the Vegas pickup was a guy that really was
we paid way too much.
Yeah, that we paid too much was the focus of a poor trade, right? And other than that, you know, I don't think, you know, I'm not too worried about it. And guys know, teams know now how to play that system, right? Like I think they didn't know, you know, they were scared when Vegas came in. They were, you know, doing all sorts of weird things. I think it'll be a different expansion draft, and I wouldn't expect Seattle to come into the league the same as Vegas did. And Vegas seems to have come down to earth a little bit, although I'll give Vegas the benefit there without Schmidt, right? So and they've got, you know, a little bit to lose one of your top D men.
Well, they're definitely missing all of James Neal's goals this year.
Yeah. He scored tonight in that barn burner. Yeah. Which is crazy. Guys, I'm just updated standings. We are now +2 on the differential. When is the last time we were a plus team on the goal differential?
First game of last season. Until the third game of last season.
Is that honest? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it was the third game.
Wow. That's crazy. All right. So, Kev, we didn't hear. What's your prediction for the score tomorrow night? Or not tomorrow night, Saturday?
Oh, you know, I keep joking saying 10-1. So I don't know if Detroit's quite that bad, but yeah, you know, Sean's 5-2. I think he said that sounded realistic, but we'll say 6-1.
6-1. Okay. Scrub64 has been chatting on Periscope on Twitter. Says 3-1. I am going to go with a McDavid Hattie for the first time this season, and 4-point night in a 5-2 game.
Sounds familiar.
I might have said that for a game the other day. Yeah, you're right. It does sound familiar. That's my go-to. Well, and you know what? You got McDavid on your team. You just never know.
They all count, man.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. 10 to midnight here, and almost 2 o'clock out east. Have a good one. It's great to be having live shows when the Oilers are winning. Thanks for calling in, both of you.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Thanks.
All right. Have a great night. And that is it. We are done. I'm closing off the phone lines. I want to say thank you again. If you haven't registered for the Oilers Live Cup, please do. It's December 9th in Edmonton, downtown community arena. My name's Michael. I do the Heavy Hockey Pod as well. Have some great guests coming up. as you heard tonight, Sean's going to do. Sean does the late night with the OilKnight SPR. You find him at the OilKnight on Twitter. They're going to be doing some interviews in Detroit. So if you are listening tonight, or you're going to listen to the recording after, go check it out. He's going to be doing some interviews out there. Maybe you can get online on the OilKnight. Anyway, thanks again for listening and tuning in tonight. You can now find me on the Simple Radio app. Just search Oilers Live. And so if you got Android Auto or iTunes, the Apple Auto, you can listen in your car and wherever. And you can always, as usual, call in. This has been really fun, and it's great to finally have something positive to do podcasts about. So really excited this year to be a part of this and just have some fun. All right, that's it for tonight. Enjoy your night.